Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So, I think we might just go for the last couple of subjects over here, but there's one thing I want to alert you all to that I noticed between episodes, which is we might be able to steal Carnatic from Great Britain directly. And it doesn't look like anyone is interested in stepping in and helping them, because Britain does not have a lot of... Well, they got... So that's interesting. They got defensive pacts with Peru, Bolivia, and Egypt. But they've only got a few protectorates and puppets left, and none of them are that strong. Except for potentially Japan. What would it be if I transferred Japan? %10 chance they say yes. Oh, man. Temptation size large. I might do this. I might actually do this. Just me versus Great Britain and Japan, and I've got an equal sized navy to Great Britain, all things considered. Oh man. Oh man, the temptation is so strong. Screw Carnatic. I'm going for Screw Carnatic. I'm going for Japan. Let's do this. 10% chance. They didn't say yes. It would have been absolutely bananas if they'd said yes. You know I'm going to add Carnatic in there, because I've got a front that... Well, is that a mistake? I don't think that's a mistake. It's going to put me pretty high in infamy. But it's going to be my last chance to get Carnatic before the end of the campaign, so I'm going to take it. Do I add it to primary? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm getting pretty freaking high in infamy. I'm not going to mobilize yet. Okay. No. I heard a noise. I'm like, what is that? And it's like, ah, it's my alarm. I got an alarm set. Like a big goof. Alright, so how... This is going to be monstrously expensive financially, because I'm going to have to mobilize a lot of armies. Let's put 5th Army, 5th Field Army over here. We do have a small front over here that I will need to defend as well. We'll put 1st Field Army there. As far as other areas, maybe we'll put a 2nd Field Army in Indonesia as well. But otherwise, I'm going to leave mobilization for later. Just to save a little cash. Not enough. Airplanes. How are we doing for airplanes? How badly do I need airplanes? Alright, War Machine Industries are moving upward. I've certainly got enough levels to produce. And I've got more levels under construction. Alright, so I've got to keep building at least long enough to make that happen. We got armies on the way. And then we're going to invade Japan with other armies. Where are my other fleets? Actually, important question. My fleets. My fleets? Where are my fleets? You're way over in the North Sea. Alright, well that's a fine place for you to be overall, generally speaking. But, particularly in a war with Britain. But for now, we want you over in China. Oh, similar with this fleet. I was wondering where my other fleets were. They were hanging out, blockading someone I'm not at war with anymore, like a big hero. Austria's damaging relations. That's not shocking. Force commerce over here. Ooh, corporate governance unlocked. Hey, I'm going to found that company again. Egypt sides with Great Britain. Alright, that doesn't bother me one bit. I can't wargle to subjugate them. All right, no, let's not be silly. Ban slavery, but no, because I don't also want to have to take over Egypt. That's just silly. Anyone else I can get into this? United States, I theoretically could. Ditto. Oh, Russia is likely to side with them. That's interesting. Because if it's a war with Russia, that's going to be a big deal. And they did it. Alright, well, I guess we'll have to do a full mobilization then. That is a shame. I'm gonna put my main army on the Russian front. Okay, so we're gonna do one last one huge, I'm not gonna say apocalyptic war, but one very, very large war. Actually, we'll put this army over here. And we'll put this army that's headed towards the Russian front. Or towards the front of Carnatic on the front with Russia. We've got a good selection of other armies. Plain Red Banner Army needs some more artillery. I was going to change them into a 6th Field Army. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll throw 20 levels of artillery directly in there. I'm going to put them at the top of the queue so that they get built fast, but not so far up the queue that they get built faster than the war machine industries that I need in order to keep my army properly mobilized. Now, let me just make sure that 6th Field Army has the correct mobilization options, and they do. Beautiful. Because I need those war machine industries running. That's a shame. They're also going to get Peru, Bolivia on their side, but that's not really going to work. That's not going to be a factor. So I think priorities are... I could establish that mining company again. There's someone... Ooh! I can finally get the Qing Gold Company. Let's do it. Excellent. Extra minting is enormously useful. I may need to take one of these armies and invade Japan. In fact, I'm almost assuredly going to have to. We'll put some coastal forces on these secondary fronts. Hey, go to the front. Go to the front! 6th Field Army will send to this front as well, for now. Those barracks are built, so they're going to see some recruitment. And that'll be just fine. So we'll need to play it a little bit careful. What are Great Britain's war goals in this war? There's one country I could theoretically sway, but they got a truce. Alright, well, it is what it is. I'm a little scared of Russia, but I'm not actually that scared of Russia. I think that's going to go mostly fine. Their war goals are regime change in Lanfang. Don't care about that. Conquer Nakhon-Ratchasima and conquer Bangkok. Alright, so they want to take a bunch of territory in Siam, so I gotta be conscientious over there. Oh, that is not what I wanted right now. A rebellion in Orissa, which I'll also have to deal with. Let's just stop tour. Cheng Jin intends to travel across northern Anhui by train to campaign for the communications clique. All I intend to do is present myself to the people. I'm just a simple man trying to get our party's message out by the best means available. Campaigning by rail is a smart move. 10% momentum to the communications clique, that's the industrialists, and minus 25% railway building throughput in northern Anhui for 2 years. Or, be ashamed if that campaign kept suffering delays, minus 10% momentum, but even a bigger penalty to railway throughput. I'm going to do the first one. I don't necessarily need... I don't want to deal with a giant throughput penalty. France is taking advantage of the fact that everyone's occupied to... country is this? Sind. Oh, interesting. Not going to get involved. It's a good opportunity, but I'm in the middle of something much larger. I'm definitely going to be able to beat Russia in forces. I'm going to raise one block of conscripts over here. This army's not on this front yet, so we'll see what the force comparison looks like when they get there. Alright, that's very good. Then again, Russia is also sending a lot of forces. I'm going to raise the conscripts for the 5th Field Army. And maybe I'll raise them for the 4th Field Army as well. I'm raising a lot of conscripts. This is going to be an enormous cost. Electric arc process unlocked. And there's the election. Once again, the Agrarian Party are the winners. I'm putting 2 field armies here. I think this makes sense, because I don't want the enemy to have a front here. They are putting some forces there, just not hugely enormous ones. I can peel off one of these field armies to attack Japan later on. There's a new mandate available, but I don't necessarily want it. Interesting. They have actually chosen to, they've actually got this, they've got a huge front here, which is interesting. Missionary Hospital opens in Guangzhou. We've seen these missionary things a lot. I'm just going to halt the unauthorized construction, same as always. I think I am going to actually put these armies on defense for the time being, while they build up forces. 4th Field Army needs another leader. Oh, this guy's a defensive strategist. Excellent. And the rest, let's go with this petite bourgeoisie guy. Still getting scholar officials, dudes. And we'll go with this petite bourgeoisie guy as well. And we'll put them all on defense. They're all very good defense fellas. Very good defendingsmen. And do I give them small promotions? I think yes. Just so that if this fella dies, which he's very likely to do, the army won't be completely overwhelmed. And we'll do the same. Just make that guy a major general. This army's not going to be that large. Ah, the flu pandemic is complete. Excellent. And we're nearly finished with all these lead mines and railways we were building, and then that will considerably drop costs and increase my my war efforts and longevity. Other fleets are returning back to China, which is very good. Strong force comparison here, very strong force comparison here. I'm feeling very I'm feeling rock solid. 2 arms. War in the Clouds completed. Tong Ying has gained renown not merely for utilizing aircraft in battle, but for even flying one himself over the skies of Andhra. The papers are calling him the White Fox. He's astounding. I can't tell if it'd be better to parade him around at home or keep sicking him on everyone in Andhra. Hero worship will help domestically, increases war support. This doesn't help me. We haven't lost any war support yet. Or war heroes need to stay in the war. 30 offense. I'm gonna go with that second one. That's a lot of offense. Now, let's take a quick look at these Japanese armies here. Oh, nothing. Oh, they have nothing. They have no modern weapons whatsoever. Well, that's exciting. Let's land a real army there, then. I'm going to land the 1st Field Army there. Using the Bohai Gulf Fleet. And then I'm going to land the 7th Coastal Force in the Ryukyus using the Guangdong Fleet. 3rd Qing Fleet's already there, so that should be fine. It's going to make force comparison here a little bit worse, but I ain't worried about that, because force comparison there is already rock solid. Alright, let's see. Alright, so we are fighting defensive battles here. We are dealing tons and tons of damage to the enemy, and that is already improving our force comparison here significantly. That and conscription are doing that work. Landing progress is being made in the Ryukyus. That's good. Landing progress is being made in Kyushu. That is excellent. We are going forward in East Borneo. Wonderful. This war hasn't kicked... Oh, no, this... Hold on. There we go. Now that war is kicked off. So that one will take a minute, but mostly should be fine. And how are we doing in Carnatic? We are winning. We have good, solid occupation in Carnatic. Alright. We have sorted out the front in Indonesia. Move this army to Korea so that they can be ready to move into Japan when the time comes. 62% landing progress. Heck yes. Carnatic is in default. Excellent. Force comparison on the Russian front is now rock solid. We're going to turn these armies over to assault. You see, heavy barrage is lower advancement speed, but oh no, compared to pillage, it's actually, yeah, we want pillage. Pillage seems better than heavy barrage. It's more devastation, but this is Russian territory, and I don't intend to take any of it, so I'm not really worried about that. And then we'll do the same with the others. Alright, now we'll get that front moving forward. Alright, making a lot of really solid progress in the Ryukyus. Tidor's Socialist Revolt wants military assistance. No, thank you. That's going to increase the cost of military goods for me, and I'm in the middle of a giant war. That just seems silly. Got a battle kicked off in Kyushu. Battle in the Ryukyus is going well, so that means this army is going to land there pretty soon. We'll bring in the 2nd Field Army to reinforce when the time comes, and the time is now. Except that front's going to move pretty soon. Basically as soon as this battle ends. Because we're going to be in possession of Kyushu. Alright, beautiful. And all these armies are on their way to Japan. Hey, hey, sir, sir. There's no front. Wait a minute, I gotta do another pair of naval invasions? Oh no, this is the fleet. Hold on. Yes, there is a front. There is a front. And the 1st Field Army is not going there. Alright, going there, sir. Not that I actually need 3 gigantic field armies on this front. I super don't, but I gotta ooh. Oh my goodness, there was a front over here I completely forgot about. That's extremely funny. Alright, so we're making very good progress in Japan. We should have the area reasonably well occupied soon. Now, the question which we need to ask ourselves is, Russia does not have war support protection. Britain does have war support protection because we're not occupying Japan fully. Or we're not occupying Japan's capital. So we need to get there. Our force comparison's rock solid, but there are enemy units coming here. Diverting enemies off of the other fronts to here is actually quite useful. Our force comparison here has become significantly worse. Which means I'm going to put these armies over on defense for the moment. They'll finish the battles they're fighting. Soon we'll have occupation of Russia, and that will make things a lot better. But for the moment, I need to make sure that my force comparison gets up to... not last stand. What does last stand do? Extra casualties taken. Certainly don't want that. Alright, so they'll finish the battles they're currently fighting, which they are... well, I'm losing this one, but I'm winning the other one. Russia sure does have a large force. I need to continue to press forward here in Japan with these 3 armies. Somehow we've fell 3 fronts, but that's alright. With all this recon we've got absolutely bananas occupation rate, which means the advance is going super duper fast, which I'm feeling very, very pleased about. In fact, we're kind of doing a little blitzkrieg thing here. We're just going straight through. Feeling really solid about that. Now, let's... I think 85 is pretty good. So let's grab the 2nd Coastal Force and the 3rd Qing Fleet. Oh, they're in the midst of a battle right now, but we'll We'll change that. Let's put the Bohai Gulf Fleet here in this place. In the sea node, we'll put them in the ocean. We'll put our fleets in the ocean. A revolutionary new technique. No one has ever thought of it before. I've experienced an issue. Orissa, somehow the frontier has been lost. Which means I need to pull an army off of the front in Iran to invade back in there. Which is really curious. I'm not sure exactly why or how that's gone. Hey! Egypt has bailed out of the war. This battle should be done soon, and I can pull this fleet off. Investment rates in Libya? No, thank you. Well, this battle sure is actually going really slowly. But as soon as it's done, we'll be ready to do this naval invasion. I'm going to use the... Oop, no. Not yet. Beautiful. I'm going to use the 3rd Qing fleet. From that, we're almost to Japan's capital. I'm going to grab the Bohai Gulf fleet. And invade Britain. That's going to force them to pull back a bunch of forces there, which will be just fine. Now again, somehow we've got 2 fleets and 2 armies in this situation, 2 fronts in this situation. So I'm going to put this fleet in the other one. Oh, it's that stupid treaty port that's in the middle of Hormuz. That's what's happening. Sir, you can go forward over here. There's no enemies on this front. I'm going to have to keep an eye on them, though, because once this front closes, they'll need to go over to the other one and not be advancing. Although, this is pretty good. There we go. Hey, hey, hey! Other front, other front. Actually, though, it looks like force comparison's a little better, and it looks like it's going to be better for a little while. So let's actually put these armies on attack now that I'm seeing it. And they're going to have to go all the way across China. Bananas. Alright, so we've got a hold of Japan now, and that's going to remove British war support protection. Russian war support protection was never a thing. I've got war support protection. I also keep winning battles, so I'm not losing much war support. It turns out. We're advancing here in Persia as well. That is a front. Could be 2 fronts. Let's grab one of our tiny coastal forces. One of our tiny 50 battalion armies. Actually, let's grab this army. Ooh, mechanized farming. Wonderful. And we'll grab the Guangdong fleet and do another invasion of the British Isles. Just for funsies. Just to get Britain properly out of this thing. Invasion is going here. This army is going to do a 3rd invasion of Britain. Eventually, gosh, costs are extremely high. Costs are extremely high. I am going to win this war, but the cost is going to be extremely high. Beautiful. All right. Like me, the costs are going to be extremely high. We'll grab our final fleet and do a 3rd invasion here, and this is just to shove Britain out of this thing. That's the goal. Which I have the ability to do. And very soon, they will be willing to accept a... to accept the peace of my choosing, which is the transfer of both Carnatic and Japan. And that will be wonderful. I will be very pleased with that. That will very much solidify my my hold over the subcontinent. And having Japan in my empire will be just delightful. Alright, we got a battle kicked off, and we are... Huh. Well, it's back and forth. It's back and forth. We'll see. We'll see how things go. We will see how things go. All these other forces have gone to the Russian front. 6 coastal forces become very large. Let's put an industrialists fella in there. And a rural folk fella in there. That way they'll argue. That'll be fun. Anywhere closer I can put them, I can put them in Persia. Just to get them a little bit closer to the front. Alright, we are pressing forward in our invasion of Britain proper. Britain is now very solidly losing war support. Again, it's going to take some time before they'll accept total capitulation, but we'll see how close it'll be once they hit 0 war support. I've eaten through my entire cash flow reserve. Let's go ahead and throw... I'm going to throw in an extreme consumption tax and a tax hike for now, just to get us through the end of the war. Beautiful. Alright, never mind. Russia's bailed out of the war. Britain... Oh, it's only going to be a few more weeks. I don't need this consumption tax. Or this tax hike. I am going to eat through a chunk of my remaining reserves, but it'll be just fine. They are very, very close to being willing to accept my full slate of war conditions. Which is great. I did completely annihilate my cash reserve, but, you know, these things happen. Thank you. Ugh, chemical warfare. Excellent. Not that I would ever do an unethical thing in a video game. Yeah, alright. So now all their forces are back here in Britain. So the invasion is not as able to happen. But in 1 more week they will be willing to accept. I know it says 0 and thumbs up, but I don't believe that. I think that's lies. Yeah, very nice nice efficient war. Propose peace deal. Excellent. And we finally have Japan under our control. I'll reduce subject payments. I do not have the ability to improve relations right now. I think what I'll do is as soon as I'm done improving relations with Jaipur, I will use the influence to improve relations with Japan, although I might not be able to. So let's see how things are going. Their liberty desire actually is significantly increasing, partially from the bad relations and partially from my low influence. So stop improving relations here. Do I have enough? I do. Beautiful. So that will help things. Partially from my infamy. So they are getting more stuff. So how can I sweeten the deal here? I can exempt them from service, which I think I'm going to do. That should keep their liberty desire kind of in check. Again, once we hit -50 on relations, that'll improve things a lot. New neighbors, new grudges. A minority group of Japanese people has settled in the state of southern Manchuria, seeking a better future. However, the local Manchu elites are stirring up resentment, claiming that the Japanese newcomers will destroy the traditional way of life. They don't belong here. Our Manchu customs, our way of life, they'll be lost if we let the Japanese settle, claimed a prominent landowner. His words echoing in the taverns and markets of Jilin. The newcomers, hopeful but weary, whisper of opportunity, but face closed doors and hostile stares. The Japanese people must accept their lot. 20% of Han and Manchu pops in upper stardom pops in southern Manchuria become more loyalist, but 25% of Japanese pops become more radical, and acceptance of Japanese pops in southern Manchuria is reduced by 5. So they're currently sharing a heritage trait only, plus 60, which makes them 3 is, I think, open prejudice. They also don't share a religion. We must foster harmony between the peoples, whether Japanese or Manchu. 5% of pops in the state become radical, whatever their culture. 75% chance of Japanese acceptance going up, and 25% of that is going up much more. And the remaining 25 is it's reduced. Or the old Manchu ways can continue to dominate our modern nation. Acceptance of Japanese pops in southern Manchuria is improved by plus 20. 20% of Manchu and Han pops are upper stratum pops are radicalized. I think amazingly, I'm actually going to go with the third. We're doing a big multicultural empire here, and there's no reason that Japanese people living within our borders shouldn't get full acceptance. This is not a we're not doing an historical run. Obviously there are a lot of historical enmities between China and Japan, but we're going to be better than all that. We're going to be better than all that. Has not China incorporated so many other peoples into our global protectorate? Yeah. So I'm going to suffer some radicals in my upper classes, but otherwise not worry about it. Now I am not presently building anything. I'm going to keep the current state of affairs for a little while, just for maybe a little bit longer. Actually, we're getting towards the end of the episode. Actually, it's already 33. Although really any episode should be the end of 33. So we'll go to the end of the year. Police brutality. The use of extreme force is becoming increasingly common among police officers in eastern Hubei. The working class and the socially conscious are rallying against the police as an institution. Scarcely a week passes without their committing some offense which disgusts everybody but the magistrates. Boys are bruised by their ferocity, women insulted by their ruffianism, and that which brutality has done, perjury denies, and magisterial stupidity suffers to go unpunished. Police brutality is becoming one of our most venerated institutions. We cannot tolerate this behavior. Happier rural folk and literati, law enforcement -1, or the use of force is warranted, happier armed forces and petite bourgeoisie. 5% of lower stratum pops in eastern Hubei become more radical. I think I need the petite bourgeoisie to be happier more than the others, so I'm going to go with the second one. And that's going to make the petite bourgeoisie happy, and that's what I want. I'm going to suffer the radicals. I just got a few, and it's fine. Oh, boy. An exile at the gates. The relatively lenient Qing immigration system has long been attractive to those fleeing their home nations. Recently, Sukeyuki Nabeshima has petitioned to join the stream of people moving to Great Qing. It was one name on a very, very long list, one that had passed through multiple layers of bureaucracy before being noticed. One fateful day, however, one clerk, at the end of his shift, pointed at that name and spoke those fatal words. I could swear I've heard of him before. Eventually, Sukeyuki Nabeshima, too, will be Qing. He joins the country, or we will not have someone like this regardless of precedent. No effect. Let's see what he likes. He is an ethno-nationalist aligned with the scholar officials. We will not have someone like this regardless of precedent. No, sir. So, now that we're responsible for Japan, let's take a look at what's going on. Kyoto is still the capital. Some industry has been built. Size of the industry is not enormous. Some resource extraction is policy has been followed. Okay, good variety of industry here in Shubu. Lots of oil. All right. Good amount of industry in Kanto. Not much extraction, so I'm going to be able to make a lot of mines here, which is interesting. The fickle crowd. The populous base of the rural folk has turned against supporting foreign entanglements. Pressure from within has led the group to distance themselves from the Anti-Prussian Association. Qing needs first. The people say no to foreign entanglements and no to foreign treaties. Prosperity at home or chaos abroad. No foreign power could successfully attack a fortified Great Qing. That's right, we proved that. It was a mistake to rely on them. They leave the Anti-Prussian Association, and they must steer clear of these populist tides. They become a weaker interest group. I'm going to do the first one. I don't even want an Anti-Prussian Association. Japan's liberty desire is going up. It's not that fast. They're reasonably economically dependent on us. And because we have a sovereign empire, I think that's reducing our... that's giving them additional decrease in liberty desire. Yeah, there we go. So that's actually helping with our doing a big imperialism. It's going to take some time before Japan becomes a proper friend to us, but it's a process. Now, let's talk about Sind. If we go after Sind, I don't think anyone would be able to step in, except for the Ottoman Empire, but I ain't scared of the Ottoman Empire. They don't have anything going on. Maybe... I am low on cash. Not a lot of authority to play with. What's the chance they say yes? 0. Again, I don't think Britain could step in. USA could step in, but it seems like they favor us. But it's going to be infamy, and I don't want to get any more infamy because I want Japan to be chill, and Japan's not going to be chill if I'm infamous. All right, I've settled. I've settled on how I want to handle it. Delicious water. Remember to stay hydrated. It's important. We're way over my Yoshida Sato, a trade unionist and social democrat. Again, not a useful character. I'm going to go back to improving relations with Jaipur now that I've completed... Oh, no, I can't. Never mind. Never mind. Jaipur will be happier later. Their liberty desire is going down very, very slowly. But it'll be going down faster once I'm less infamous. Alright, I think that's a good buffer of cash flow. So what do I need to build for my newly expanded market? Let's see. I kind of need more ironclads, but I think the private sector should handle that. Engines are still... We can continue to increase the size of the Qing car industry. Ooh, let's do an infrastructure pass before we do anything else. Could do electric arc process for steel, but I don't think that's necessarily productive right now. Could do mechanized slaughterhouses. Again, I haven't completed rural electrification yet. We'll do intensive wool gathering at least. Let's see. Where is... Oh, well, first things first. Government admin. We got a few places that are a little bit low on taxation capacity. Nothing extreme. Just need to make sure I'm keeping up with this. Alright, there we go. That should be fine. And then we have places that are low on infrastructure. No. I'm not going to electric railways. I've been made to feel silly before. Just go from the bottom up. And on. Let's see. Hebei. I have a lot of places I could invest in, but not a lot of them in my own country. Kamchatka's already got one building. Southern Anhui needs a little bit extra. In fact, even more extra, to be honest. Beijing's closing in on being a little short. Guizhou's closing in on being a little short. Alright, that should be good. That's good. There are some places in Korea that could use railways. So we'll build those up as well. Actually, we'll build railways all across Korea. What about Japan? Does Japan have railways? It's got some. Let's make sure there's a baseline amount of rail transit in Japan, now that we've taken over the country and are responsible for it. what about in India? Now that I'm thinking about it, I say as I mouse over Tibet, a country that is not a part of India. Yeah, you know what? We'll do a broad rail expansion in many of our subject states. Actually, it looks like Hazaristan is not as low as it in market access as it thinks it is. Some of Afghanistan already has rail, which is fine. And some of India has rail as well. Actually, most of India has rail, it looks like, which is delightful. Let's go with the one in Hyderabad, just to... and one in Andhra. Bengal is fully connected. Southeast Asia needs some additional rail. I think Chiang Mai is just not subsidizing their rail, and that's why things are rough there. All right. And then I think we'll just build rail anywhere in China that doesn't have any yet. Kind of regardless of infrastructure. Yeah, much of the coast and center of the country are pretty heavily industrialized, so those areas already have rail. Because I've needed it to support the amount of infrastructure I've been trying to build. Now, what about all this Russian territory that I took? Yeah, let's connect those areas up, just for funsies. Alright, that'll be nice. That'll be nice. Make a good solid... I should liberate the Philippines. And by liberate, I mean steal from Spain. Do I have a truce with Spain for some reason? Or do I need to target Spain themselves? No demands available. Are they... Do we have a truce? We don't. It's because they have a truce with Japan? Let me see here. Unavailable demands. Transfer subject. Wait, okay, hold on. Hold on. I can do this. Because relations with Spain are too good. That's why. I don't want to worry about that. I don't need to worry about that, in fact. Investment pool is gaining in size. Electricity shortage in southern Anhui. How bad is it? Prices, electricity is... That's northern Anhui. It's bad, but also I can't really do anything about it, because power plant can't hire, so it is what it is. Not gonna worry about that. Should be done improving relations with Baroda pretty soon. Now, I can theoretically continue to improve relations with Jaipur once that's completed. Which I think I will do, but again, it based on... Oh, cripes. I was going to end the episode. It's based on how much influence I've got. Anyway, I was managing and clicking buttons, and I completely didn't realize it was time for the episode to be done. So, that is an episode, my nerds. We've had one last great... I'm not going to say apocalyptic war, but a big old war, a proper war, with Russia and Britain. We've cemented our control over Asia, and we're going to have one more episode before the end of the run. But for now, I've had fun, I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.